Guys, welcome to episode number 4 of the second season of the Derby Career Live. And to start off this episode, we do have the game against Arsenal to kick off this episode. Then we have deadline day the day after, so it's pretty much our last chance to make any signings. Then we have Chelsea, Ghent, Watford. There's quite a few London teams, those three there. I don't know if Watford count as London, but they're pretty close. But yeah, we've got Ghent to kick off the Europa League, which is about the middle tier team. Then PSV are probably the toughest team. And then I still don't know where. I should have probably done some research on this team because I don't have a clue where they are. So in between the two episodes, basically, I had a look at the team just to see where the weak areas are. And you could debate centre-back. But what I like about centre-back is because we've got pretty much very young players, Tomori, Schurz and Bielik, all under 22 at least. Obviously, Tomori and Schurz are both pretty much teenagers. They're going to grow plenty of ratings, so there's no real issue at centre-back, in my opinion. It's probably out wide on the left, because Waghorn as the backup, and we don't have an out-and-out left winger. If you look at the team, obviously, I've decided to switch Wilson and Bowen for the time being, just because Wilson wasn't doing too well in the last episode. We do have Castagnagno, but I think we're going to play more as a backup right back. Yeah, we don't have an out and out winger. Again, Wu Lee could play there, but he's more of a striker in my opinion. So yeah, I've gone on to the transfer hub. We did have a suggestion as well to add to this collection. It was Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. Very good player indeed, very pacey, 18 years old. The only issue is, which isn't too much of an issue, he's got 3-star skills. So what I've done is I've added players with 4 or 5-star skills. This guy here actually looks quite interesting, Song Krasin. Apparently he's like the Thailand Messi. The thing is, he's 5'2", that's the crazy thing. Stupidly light at 123 pounds, but he's got 5-star skills, so I don't know, a bit of an interesting one. We also have a Costa here from DC United, but we do have Harrit here, who apparently has just joined the club. He's probably the best out of this lot. I think if we can get him, no, it's literally just moved to PSV, so we are going to be playing against Harrit in the Europa League, so we'll remove him from the shortlist since we can't get him. Bit of a shame, but it's one of those things. But yeah, we don't really have any other wingers. Maybe Kubo, we could get him for 8.8 million. And he can play centre forward, that's the thing that I want. So if I look at these examples that I did add to the shortlist, obviously he can play both left and right side. Moses Simon, we did actually sign, was it last year on the career mode? Or maybe the year before, but he's a brilliant player on FIFA. 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, very, very fast, about 95 pace. Then we have Brahim Diaz here from Real Madrid, obviously was at Manchester City previously. So I might look to loan in Saka and Brahim. I do kind of do it. I think the thing is with Moses Simon is you can actually play him at striker. So I think we've got about enough to make 1, maybe even 2 signings if I'm lucky. I'm not too sure as well if we need another centre-back. That's another thing, just to be sure. But I think I'd rather, because of how young our players are, I'd rather play with them and make them good. We could always bring back Matt Clark, of course, but I just felt at times he was a little bit liable, and I do prefer Tomori much more now in the defence. So yeah, I can always look at Luke Thomas as well. Obviously he can play out wide, but very similar to Bowen and Harry Wilson in style. I'm kind of tempted to go for Brahim Diaz because he's actually affordable, but he's not really a striker. That's the only issue with him. But would obviously be a terrific player to bring to the club. I'm just thinking whether Moses Simon's the better option. But I don't know. I think we'll go try Moses Simon, see if we can get him. He was actually on loan at a team in the French league. I'm not too sure it was though. The thing is with Moses Simon, he's right-footed as well. Well, he's got 5-star weak foot, so you can literally hit it with either foot. Yeah, I'm just trying to look at what, like, in terms of strikers, we do have a lot. It's just whether, like, the likes of Waghorn or Martin will be good enough in the Premier League. But yeah, I think if we go in with a, I don't know, I don't want to obviously offer too much for him, but he's still a very good player, so I'm going to offer 7 million. I think that's about a fair offer in the middle there. Maybe not. Maybe he's a bit better than that. He's normally about 75 rated, so I felt that was a decent offer, but maybe we should have gone towards the 10 million mark. A little bit annoyed at that, but obviously gives us the opportunity to actually fully scout him now, and we'll get something back in January. So I think the next player, I kind of want to just try this guy just because he seems quite interesting to me. Not quite as good as quality, but 5-star skills is something I'm definitely tempted to bring to the club. I just feel we need that at probably times. So let's go for this guy. We should be able to afford him quite easily. And then we can look towards bringing someone else in. So I think I'll go in with a 3.5 million transfer sum as an offer. He shouldn't be too expensive. That's what I quite like about this guy. As you can see, he's gone up to 3.7. If we can get that back down to 3.5, which we should be able to do. There we go, they've accepted it, so I'm really happy with that. It's the only issue is, again, because we don't have the scout report, I don't really know what kind of wages, but as you can see, he can play centre forward. He could probably play up front, to be honest. It depends on what his finishing is, but I'd say mainly out wide. I think at 5'2", I don't really want to be playing him as the main striker. So I'm going to give him a rotation role. He actually wants importance, so that's quite interesting. I will use him quite a bit because of the skill moves. He will be able to help us out in certain scenarios. It'll be interesting to see if they come in. See, this is what is going to be quite interesting, because I'm not too sure what to offer him. I'm trying to think who else. I think around 13, maybe 14,000. I think I'll go 13.5. And that should... Oh, he's gone a bit higher, so we got a little bit lucky there. I'll just remove the bonus and accept that, and hopefully... Yeah, he's gone up to 18,000. So yeah, I'm slightly lucky there that they've not just walked out of this deal, but we have made the signing of the Thai Messi, Mr. Song Krasin. Be interested to see what kind of rating he is, and what stats does he have. 72 rated, 5-star skills, 86 pace, 77 dribbling. And he's 26, which is not terrible. And 67 finishing isn't actually that bad if you compare it to Chris Martin, for example. Whereabouts is he? Yeah, they got basically the same finishing, and Chris Martin's very good at finishing, so I don't see that as an issue. The only thing about him is he's 5'2". But FIFA 20, like, pace is mainly the factor, and he's got 89 acceleration, very good agility and balance, so he's somebody that I've not seen before, and I think it's something a little bit different, so that's what I quite like about him. And he can play in a number of positions, and it also means we do have quite a bit of money left to make another signing. Yeah, we got at least a very good signing, actually, we could make. I'm just trying to think if we need another defender, just to that left back position, kind of cover if need be. So I think we're going to go into the game against Arsenal at home, and then we can just see what we need to do in terms of signings, because obviously Arsenal will be a very good test for us. I'm going to change his kit number, of course, since he has only just joined the club. It'll be interesting to see what he's been given. Number 15. Just trying to see what we've actually got available now. See, we've got like a number 3 available for somebody, maybe a new left back. Into the game then against Arsenal. It'll be interesting to see how we do with the new update, of course. I think yeah, we'll go for their away kit. Very nice indeed, that yellow kit. Be interested to see how Wilson does on the right hand side as well. Obviously, is technically a right winger, and probably does better at cutting in. But then again, so does Bowen. Like, it's one of those where we could probably look think I will put him onto the bench. Son Krasin, we'll put him in for maybe Van Bergen. Here we are then for the home game against Arsenal. Looks like they are playing a strong team, which is good to see. Obviously the patch has meant that teams play their best team, so that's very good indeed. So they have got Leno in goal. A very different back four. Obviously David Luiz, the new signing from the season, but Florenzi at right back, then Andy Robertson at left back, Romagnoli right mid, right centre defensive midfielder, then Milojevic from Crystal Palace is quite an interesting one, then Eva Banega from Sevilla, Pepe and Aubameyang out wide, Ozil and Lacazette leading the line. A very strong team, and that's what I want to see. I want to see Arsenal absolutely dominating us in this game. And that way I can see what the flaws are in this team, and then I can improve.
Fantastic form this season. It's been a good
chance here for Arsenal. Lacazette going around the defender, passes it across, and Ozil with the first goal of the game. I was quite surprised. That generally feels like playing against somebody online. Normally the computer in this situation would go for the shot. That's why I went across with Tomori. But they played that very well, and Arsenal have made it 1-0. Chance here for Arsenal with Ozil. He's in the box, slips it to Aubameyang, pulls it across the face of goal, and there's 2 goals. I think the issue for us is not really defending. Like, I know we've conceded 2 goals, but it's up front basically. I can't get the ball to Marriott because he's so small. I think we kind of need a Chris Martin, but you know, of a better quality now that we're in the Prem. Or maybe change formation. That's the only thing I can think of, because at the minute Marriott's just very isolated and I can't really get the ball to him. Good ball over the top here for Florenzi. Pulled it back to Ozil very nicely. Now in the box with Lacazette. Good save from Nubel. And the rebound does go into the back of the net to make it 3-0. And this is what I want. This is always what I've wanted in a career mode save. For me to have to be thinking about how to win the game and not just winning all the games all the time. I think I've always finished like top half of the table in the career mode, but yeah, we've just not really done anything in this game, attacking wise.
He'll have a successful career at his new club.
Let's see if Marriott can go around the defender with the shot now and into the back of the net. You see, that's what I like about Jack Marriott. You can get your goal out of nothing. I've actually just subbed him off technically, so I don't know. Maybe just trying something a little bit different. I want to see how Son Krasin does, and whether he's better. Obviously, I can mix this up quite easily. This front 3/4, obviously with Bowen, but yeah, you could easily do that. Move it around.
The 90 minutes, half an hour to go.
He is tiny on the pitch. Just look how small he is. He's like a little Diddy Messi just to play with. He does feel quite good, like in terms of agility and all that. But have we got a chance here for Bowen? Yes, we do. The very Messi-esque cut inside and finesse, and maybe there's a chance for us to get back into this game. You know, that little run there from him just to push David Luiz out of the way. Just gave Bowen a bit of space, and yeah, he's already got 3 Premier League goals. Obviously, I think he got a goal or 2 against Spurs, which was kind of a dud game now if you compare it with the patch now, where it's actually quite difficult.
It's good play, this.
Chance here for Arsenal with Pepe. I must say left back is an area I do need to. I think we need to get Max Lowe into some training, because he's definitely been a weak point. Like, it says he's only 72 rated, but he feels way better than that. He's just, you know, he's got the pace, and that is about 90% of the job. Rooney here with the chance to equalise into Wayne Rooney. Is he onside? Yes, he is. I was just waiting for that. Jesus Christ, that is a brilliant comeback. Were we 3-0 down? Yeah, we were 3-0 down. A little bit lucky with the deflection into Rooney's path, of course, but probably did deserve to score from Rooney's finesse shot. But it's good to see Rooney getting a second Premier League goal. I think that's what we can do with Rooney. I said earlier on in the game that we didn't really have a presence up front, and maybe just playing Rooney up front is what we should do, and bring Marriott off the bench as an impact. There we go, full time against Arsenal. Very well done to get back level. Definitely a game of 2 halves, basically. Arsenal absolutely dominated the first half, but as soon as that Marriott goal went in, the game pretty much quickly turned, and we managed to rescue a point, which is good. And I want it to be that difficult, you know. I think if that first half kind of continued in the way it did, that game could have been very difficult, and probably what should have happened. I think I don't really want to be coming against a top 6 team and kind of getting points. Transfer offer for Jaden Bogle, 11.5 million from Stade Rennes. We'll be blocking all offers for him, of course. I don't know if there's any players that I'd really want to sell, to be honest. Like, if I look at my squad, the only ones that really maybe Carson or Waghorn, maybe, I don't know. I still feel Waghorn's quite useful in the cup. Chris Martin's a little bit different, you know, he can hold up the ball quite well if we need an option like that, and that's kind of what we need to replace. I think at times we may need, obviously Rooney's a bit more of a striker, but can play at cam. But Son Krasin was actually very good in the last game. Like, it says he's 72 rated, but I'd say he's about 77, maybe 76. But yeah, he feels just as good as Harry Wilson, basically, or Bowen. So that's good that we've made a very cheap signing for a very good player. So yeah, I don't want to oversign and then have too many players and not play them much. I'm not too sure. Maybe just bringing Luke Thomas back. Somebody to grow, of course, and can play out wide, or even at striker if need be. Into transfer deadline day then. Just going to do a quick run through of all the signings so far. Foreigners and Silimani to Bournemouth, and Cook, Wilson and Brooks. That is a lot of very good players leaving Bournemouth, and I think Wilson went to Wolfsburg or something. Arsenal signing Naby Keita. I think Arsenal have signed Robertson, Henderson and Keita from Liverpool, so I don't quite understand what Liverpool are doing, but Isqueiro and Montoya leaving Brighton. 50 million spent for Burnley there on Zivkovic and Wolf and Cyprian. Chelsea spending 88 million but selling 60 million worth, probably most of that in Morata. But Henrik's very good fullback, and Aspas and De Vrij. 50 million spent for Crystal Palace. Bardi, a very good free kick taker, but also letting Mayer go. We spent 30 million, so still got like the 9 left. The problem is we haven't really had any players wanting to leave and stuff. Matuidi going to Everton for 20 mil for Matuidi is actually a decent price, but they have lost Davies, Tosun and Keane. Yeah, like Liverpool have sold 80 million worth of players and brought in Bentancur. But Leicester have sold quite a bit actually, like Chowdhury and Didi, Chilwell, all leaving them. Man City selling Sane and Stones, but not actually signing anyone. Canales going to Man United. Forest spending quite a bit actually at 23 mil. Obviously Agbo and Dragowski is actually a very good goalkeeper, but they did sell Pantamillion. West Ham spending 85 million on Ndidi, Bartra and Acerbe. I'd say Ndidi's probably the most expensive there, but they did get rid of Diop and Balbuena. Wolves selling 20 million in Cavaliero, and Connor Cody, both very good players. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what we really need. I think maybe, do we have a big striker? I think Tammy Abraham would make a lot of sense, but do I want to make that kind of signing on this career mode? Or maybe Iheanacho, like 6 foot tall for him. He's pretty good and we could just about afford him. 71 strength isn't amazing, that's the only thing. But I do like the bit of height he's got at 6 foot. You see, Haaland would make a lot of sense. I just feel it's a bit of a... I think a lot of people have signed him on career mode, and I'd rather, as I've done with Son Krasin, I'd rather sign players that aren't that well known. Like Tammy Abraham, a lot of people would sign him on a career mode, and I'd rather do something a little bit different, to be honest, just to make it interesting, really, just to sign some players that you wouldn't normally expect. But yeah, I can't really think of a striker that would do what I kind of need him to do. See, Yarmolenko would actually be quite good as a striker, like 77 finishing, very good ball control and dribbling. He is 6'3". So I'm kind of tempted to go for him. I know he has the injury prone trait as well. I'm not too sure why Lee Grant's just stood there like, you're right, mate. Yeah, 4-star skills, can play out wide, of course. The only thing about him is he hasn't exactly got pace. But I feel like 75 strength's very good. Just a bit, I don't know, can we afford his wages at 68k? What have we currently got? 48k. I'm going to be cutting it tight. I think just because of the age, I think Iheanacho makes a lot more sense. 23 years old, can still easily grow quite a bit. And he is a striker, you know, like, it makes a bit more sense. I know Yarmolenko could play striker very easily with the stats that he's got. Not exactly the paciest, but as you can see by strikers, you know, we've got... Rooney can always go striker. I just worry that we've got too many. That's the thing, like, if Waghorn is decent, you know, there's only 4 ratings between them. But I think he's slightly more affordable, Iheanacho, so makes a bit of sense. I am going to try and undercut his value a bit there. It's a bit weird that they haven't got Brendan Rodgers, actually, because they do have Frank Lampard. And Brendan Rodgers has been Leicester manager for longer. So maybe if we meet about there, 7.5 million plus 15% sell-on clause. They've removed the sell-on clause, which means I can't put that back in. So if we could just meet the value, then that would be good. So they've gone to 8.6. If I can get it down to... The thing is, it's deadline day, so I don't really want to... Oh, I've messed it up now, because now I'm going to have to go 8.5 and hope they accept that. There we go, cool, they've accepted that. What I'm going to do, just to play a bit of devil's advocate, what I'm going to do is try and get Yarmolenko for 8.5, is it? Yeah. Just to see if it can happen, basically. Maybe West Ham don't want him anymore. Because for this season, it may be quite difficult. That last Arsenal game, I do want a bit of quality when we get into the final third. So yeah, it would make a lot of sense. So what was it, 8.5? I think if I just offer 8 from the get-go with a big sell-on clause. Because the thing about him is, the likelihood of us selling him is very low. Because he is 30 years old, so he's not going to exactly have much of a sell-on clause. So they've actually accepted 9 million for Yarmolenko, which makes things very interesting indeed. So we've got 8.5 for Iheanacho, who can grow, of course, but Yarmolenko, just quality-wise, I don't think he actually... No, he doesn't have the injury-prone trait, which is quite odd, because he probably should, because he's injured literally all the time. But we're going to go try and see if we can afford him. He is currently on 68k wages. So on his current wage, we can't afford him, but maybe he will drop down a bit. So I think if we offer something like that... I can't put a bonus in, can I? 18 quid bonus, there you go, mate. See if he accepts that. It's literally all the money we have. Obviously, we can afford Iheanacho. But I'd like to see... Wow, they've accepted it. Wow. I'm amazed. I'm actually amazed. I was expecting that to get declined. So yeah, I can't afford you now, Iheanacho. Sorry, mate. I'm amazed at that, actually. We have 0 money left. Let me just go into the negotiations for Iheanacho just to see what happens in terms of our money. Yeah, we go. We don't have any money. Cool. I'm quite amazed, to be honest. And we've got a better quality player. That's what I kind of wanted. If we're going to sign somebody, I may as well make it somebody who improves the team. Iheanacho kind of, you know, he's basically Marriott, but a bit taller. And we also have Rooney. Like, Rooney could very easily go up front. It's another left footer, though. I do love a left footer, I must say. How many have we got in the club now? So yeah, Harry Wilson's not been doing that well. In terms of in-game, you know, just pretty terrible. So I think I'm going to go You see, the thing is with Yarmolenko, he is 6'3", which I love. You know, I love that height on him. Can he win a header though? That's the question. 69 heading accuracy is not bad. 60 jump is not great, but obviously at 6'3" doesn't really need to jump. But it's just the technical stats. You know, you've got a very good player. Obviously, he used to play for Borussia Dortmund. So yeah, I'm very happy. Just to improve the quality of the team, really. Makes a lot of sense instead of Iheanacho. I'm kind of tempted to list Martin Waghorn because he's still worth a little bit at 2 million. And his contract's expiring at the end of the season, and I don't think I'm going to renew it. So if I just, you know, list him up, and if an offer is put in, also with Wisdom, I'm kind of tempted to do the same. I just don't see me playing with him in the Premier League, really, so we will list those. Huddleston I'll probably just keep until he retires. He's one of those players that he's just going to sit here and, you know, help out whenever. Same with Chris Martin. I'd rather just keep Martin at the club until he retires. He's one of those, you know, squad players that are nice to have. A couple of messages here. Negotiations over for him, and we have actually had a bid for Wisdom from Feyenoord. We'll try and get as much as we can, of course. If we can negotiate up to about 1.7, 1.8 million. It just means if we need any contracts sorting, we have actually got money. You know, it's quite a nice thing to have. We can meet in the middle. I'm pretty happy with that. You know, it's pretty much his value. His contract's expiring anyway. So there we go. We've accepted that, I think. Did they accept that? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I do kind of just skip through these things quite quickly, but yeah, as I said, we do need to kind of think about moving somebody on because we have got a lot of players at the club. And we have obviously got a scout, youth scout, if worst case scenario we do need a defender, but I think we have more than enough in that position, so it'll be interesting to see if Wisdom does. There we go, Andre Wisdom has been sold on transfer deadline day. Just gives us a little bit of money. We didn't exactly need him, obviously it does force us into playing Castagne as the backup right back. Very good at that job, to be honest, at 6'1", very good. Fullback indeed. Just thinking if we do need another defender, you know, just in case we do get an injury or two. Obviously we've got Bielik as a backup centre back, plus with Curtis Davis. I don't know actually. That's the thing with Wisdom, like you could play centre back or right back. I think if worst case to worst, we could always just put Max Bird at left back and move somebody to centre back, such as Malone. Or Huddleston. I think Huddleston's perfectly fine at centre back. So I'll probably do that if that comes to it. But I want to play a lot of games with Schurz and Tomori. So I've got about 20k in transfer budget. So maybe just loaning in a centre back is probably what I should do. Because we have got quite a few on the shortlist. Can I actually get Tomiyasu on loan? No. That would have been a bit cheeky if we could have done that. I don't know if we can get because he is very good, but yeah, we can't loan him. You see, I could get Matt Clark again on loan for another season, because I don't think I'm going to get anyone else here. Maybe Saliba from Arsenal, actually. He's slightly better than Matt Clark. Maybe going for him. Oh, we can do it. Wow. He is obviously under like 21, so it makes sense that we can loan him. But yeah, I think as a backup, you know, for Europa League. Also, if we can do a 2-year loan, you know, it's essentially like signing the player, because 2 years is quite a long period in career mode. And if we can get down to, like we did with Tomori, a 45-55 split, there we go, boom. The squad is perfect now, you know. I've not seen many people use this guy. Obviously, he's only just been signed by Arsenal in real life. And he matches like Tomori's level. I think we will just leave him down in the reserves for the time being. Where is he? Oh yeah, he needs to go. Yeah, I want to sign for this club. See, that's one thing I don't like, which I preferred in the past, where you could almost line up transfers, because maybe he says no to us. it'd be nice to, you know, I think Matt Clark could very easily sign for us. But I don't want us to put a bid in now. I don't know, I am kind of risking it with only 3 hours left on the clock, but I haven't got much other choices. See, we need to put a bid in for Matt Clark now if we want him. But I don't want Clark and Saliba. So I'm a bit, ooh, what do we do? I'm a little bit nervous that we won't get a centre-back. We don't technically need a centre-back. But at the same time, it would be nice to have that security. I think, oh, we can't. The club isn't, oh, they're not even interested in loaning him out, so cool. That's resolved that, so basically it's Saliba or nobody. And the question is, has he accepted us on the final hour? Loaned in, cool, there we go, 2-year loan. So maybe because it is a 2-year loan, you needed slightly longer to think about it. But yeah, that is deadline day wrapped up and the transfer window all finished. Glad you decided to sell me. Yeah, I think like by the time the season comes, 71 rated player isn't going to be great. Bit of an injury there to Christian Bielik, hyperextended knee. And we have had, ooh. So, will this deal go through now or will it go through in the next window? Let's go negotiate and see if we can get like 2.2 million for Wycorn. He is still very good, Wycorn. Like, he will be useful in the cup and stuff. It's weird that they've done that. I'm going to remove the selling clause and see if we can get to his value at least. Because he's still very usable. Yeah, they've accepted that, so that's cool. But obviously long term, at 30 years old and with his contract expiring, I don't see much point in extending it, so it makes sense to sell him and move him on. So yeah, we're going to a bit of training now. I think I do need to definitely improve Max Low defensively. He just isn't quite, you know, I think a lot of issues are coming from that side, so putting him into training makes a lot of sense. Marriott has actually gone to a 75, which is nice to see. But yeah, I'll look to include some of the new signings. Maybe put Son Krasen in. Very good indeed, but maybe with a bit better shooting will be even better. There we go, Martin Wycorn has been sold. The only thing that I'm interested in is when he'll actually go. I'm assuming it's going to be January, so you know, it's nice to still have him for a little bit. We have also had a bit of growth in between the end of deadline day and now. So he's still in the squad, so yeah, as you can see we have got quite a few numbers, but which we will actually need for playing in Europa League. Schurz has gone up to a 76, Marriott up to a 75. So yeah, I think we've got a very good squad, and we've made some very good signings during this window. Obviously Yarmolenko, nice bit of quality out wide. Not the paciest, but I don't think pace is always necessary, especially with some of the rapid players that I've got in Woolley, Son Krasen, Josephson, you know. So I think we are going to wrap up this episode here. It'll be interesting to see if we can actually play Tomori against Chelsea. We should be able to, but I might just drop him for this game, just to make it authentic. Yeah, we scored again. Like, we are the top goal scorers in the league, but it does help that we did actually pump Spurs like 6-1 in that second game, or was it first game of the season? So I think, like, in terms of fixtures, I'll see how it goes over the next few games in terms of difficulty. It definitely feels much more difficult, but we'll see. Of course, we have made a number of improvements to the team, and it will take some time for them to gel. But yeah, just the quality of the team now is very good indeed. It is a bit of a shame, you know, for like Bird, Knight, and Sibley, because they're not going to feature too much. Same with like Josephson as well. Like, Josephson absolutely carried us off the bench last season. But it'll be interesting to see how many games he gets next year. But yeah, I think I'll probably drop Tomori for the next game. Maybe put Bielik or Saliba in. Very good player, Saliba, of course. If you look at the stats, you know, very similar to Tomori. Obviously not quite as fast, but defensively just as strong, and maybe even stronger. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Leave a like, rating if you did enjoy. It will be quite a while now until we go into the next transfer window. We'd literally spent every single penny that we could. But yeah, we've got a lot of games now. That's the thing. We need this squad size because we've got, you know, Chelsea, the Europa League games plus the Carabao Cup games that we will be playing until January. We look at that month. That month is an absolute cluster. Even if we get another Carabao Cup game in there as well, could get even more clustered. So, like that stage here, like you got PSV break, Crystal Palace, 2-day break, Stoke. You know, that's a lot of games in a very short period of time. So yeah, hopefully guys did enjoy this episode. Leave a like rating if you did enjoy it, and see you soon. Bye.